Yo, welcome to Raw Pages. This is a series where I read a chapter of a book every single day. I come back on this channel and I tell you guys what I've learned so that you don't have to read the book yourselves. So you're learning with me. And today we're going to be speaking about how habits actually work, right? I'm reading Atomic Habits right now, so I'm going to break it down into the four-step process just so you guys know how they actually work and how you can use it in your favor moving forward. So let's go. So the habits, right? It's a four-step habit loop. So you've got the cue, you've got the craving, then you've got the response, and then you've got the reward, right? So it's these four steps. Let's take, for example, a let's take, for example, someone who overeats junk food, right? You know what? I'll use myself as an example. I live in Lisbon, Portugal right now, right? But when I was back in the, like, I've got a mad sweet tooth, right? Something I'm trying to change. When I was back in the UK, I used to go on these walks, my 10K steps, etc. And as I used to come back, right, I used to walk past this shop that used to do the most sugar-loaded muffins, like, that you ever have. Like, they had the craziest cupcakes loaded with sugar. And me having a sweet tooth, you can ask anyone that knows me. I've got a mad sweet tooth and I love burgers, right? So even though I might have burnt like 500 calories on this walk, I'll come back and the queue, because before that corner store, there was a fast food store like right in front of it, and you can smell the fries. You can smell the fries as you walk. So that would be the queue. So I smell the fries. I'm smelling that, and I'm also seeing the shop. So that's my cue. It's like, oh shit, that's my cue. And then from the queue, I've got the craving. Like I remember, oh shit, like I've got sweet tooth. Like, yo, they've got good cupcakes there. That's my craving. And then what's my response? I go in, I buy like 3 or 4 of them, and I wax them off. I'll probably eat two before I even get back in my house. Like, so I've got the cue, I've got the craving, I've got the response, and what's the reward? The dopamine from eating sugar loaded bullshit. That's the reward that I get just from being able to, you know, see the see the shop, have the craving. Then my response is to get the muffins, the cupcakes, and then I've got my reward, which is the dopamine, right? Monkey see, monkey do. I hope you guys have seen that diagram where it's like there's a monkey, and it's like stimuli, response. It's the same kind of thing. That's how habits form. And the reason your body does this, like this isn't your brain thinking actively about doing it, right? Like the human mind and the human body is so smart. It's so efficient. So your body and your mind want to do things in a way that consumes the least amount of energy, right? So these little habits that you do, they're it's like a program that's running in the background. Like you don't even need to think about it. Like your mind works on patterns, right? When this happens and I'm in this area, then I do this and I do that, then I do this and I do that. Like you see that, and you don't have to think of it. It's all happening subconsciously. That's how we've evolved to be able to focus our brain power on important things, right? That actually require a lot of energy. So habits have been built in a way where it's just like you just do it naturally, and it feels like instinct, but because of the way the cue, the craving, the response, the reward has been engineered, that's just the way it happens now. Now your mind is just recognizing this, boom, 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 boom. Simple. That's how we do things. But you don't want to let that control your life. That's why the book's called Atomic Habits, right? Your habits are the atoms of your life. You are just like a sum of all the habits you've been doing for the last 5 years. That's what's got you here, right? You don't think about these things a lot, but that's what's got you here. It's the same way for smokers, for example. There might be a cue. The cue might be they're stressed out, you know, or they might feel their cigarettes in their pocket, right? Then they've got the craving now, and because they've got the craving, they want to feel that feeling of the nicotine rush or whatever, feeling relaxed after they smoke the cigarette, right? So what's the response? Cue craving response: straight smoke, man, straight smoke, light it up. They're smoking, and now they've got the reward. So it's a chain reaction. I hope you can see what that actually looks like. So Now that I've broken down what it actually looks like, and you know that habits aren't just random, it's your mind putting things in like a cadence, like a flow, so that you don't have to think about it, right? And this can be used for good or for evil. Like the human brain is so powerful, it's so powerful, but it's just up to you if you want to take control of it or not. Otherwise, it's going to take control of you. Seriously. Now, um, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing as well that I read from that chapter is you don't actually crave the habit, which is smoking, whatever. You don't crave the habit, you crave the state of change that it provides, right? So like me, I can put my hands up. I've got a caffeine addiction. Like I have at least 2 or 3 cups of coffee on a daily basis, right? See my teeth? My teeth are a lot whiter than this, but because I have so much black coffees every single day, they've kind of yellowed a bit, you know? And that's because of the habit of drinking coffee, caffeine. And I don't drink it, like I don't even think it tastes nice. Makes your breath stink. But the reason I drink it all the time is because I want the desired state, which is just feeling that rush, having energy, and it's like, come on, let's go, stimuli, right? That's the desired state of change that I want, and that's why I drink coffee. So now that you actually know why you form these habits, whether they're good or whether they're bad, how can you engineer it in your own favor? So it's a 4 step process, right? So it's cue, craving, response, and reward. Now, if you want to start using and manipulating this to your advantage, what have you got to do? You've got to start with the first domino. The first domino is the cue, right? So let's say it's the gym, for example. You know you've got to, you know what, I'm gonna make it even simpler. I'm gonna make it even more simple. Sure. I'm gonna make it more simple. Let's say you want to drink more water. Let me tell you what I've been doing recently, right? I know that I've got to drink a lot more water. I've not been as hydrated as I'm supposed to be. So I literally have, one sec. I literally have this at my bedside every single day. So when I wake up, this is the first thing that I do. So it's the first thing I do. I drink all of that, right? So the cue is seeing that and it's like, okay, the craving now to drink water because I need to have a big pee. The first thing I do, and then the response is I pick up the bottle, I start drinking, and the reward is I feel hydrated. Then I feel like I'm ready to start my day. And then the next chain reaction is after that, when I know I've drank my water, then the next cue is coffee. I know that after that, I drink my coffee. So I drink the coffee, right? And then when I start to feel the rush, I'm like, okay, I'm awake now. And then I look to my bed, to my desk, right? And then the next cue is I see a book, right? My journal. And I know I'm supposed to journal. It's part of my daily routine, my morning routine. So the cue is seeing my journal, right? And then I have a craving. Like I feel so light and I feel so light and easygoing and just at peace when I've started my day writing down how I feel in my journal, right? So I like that feeling. So then I start craving it when I look at my journal. And when I've done that, like when I have that craving, I act on the craving, which is the response, right? It's the third domino. And the response is I start writing down a page. I write down a page, how I feel, anything that's on my mind, how I've woken up. If I'm feeling something that's kind of heavy on my mind today, if I'm worried about something, I'll write it down. And then I just unload onto the page, cool. And then in my last word, I always write, let's go. Like, let's start the day, let's go. And then that's my reward, is I feel light and I feel ready to attack the day. So I've got the cue, which is seeing my journal, the craving, which is okay, now I want to write in my journal, the response, which is okay, let's actually start writing in the journal. And then I write let's go. And that gives me a feeling complete, feeling happy, ready to attack the day. And that's my reward. So let's say you want to start going to the gym, right? Like even more, put your gym bag opposite your bed. Like put it in a space where it's so obvious that you can't ignore it. And then when you see it, it's like, okay, let me get ready for the gym. Engineer your environment. Environment is such a big factor. Engineer your environment to benefit you, right? put cues around, make the cues obvious so that you can actually then have the craving for it, do the response to get the reward. Like, that's the good thing about humans is that once you really recognize these patterns, you can, we're smart enough to be able to engineer our environments to follow that, right? So that's what you really want to do. And it's the same way if you want to flip this for bad habits. Let's say, for example, you you really like donuts, right? Let's say you really like donuts. Go to a different store, right? Because you're not gonna be having the same cues. Usually, if you go past a certain aisle when you walk in, it's like, okay, let me get the donut. You get the craving after that, the response, you get the donut, the reward, the dopamine from eating it. But if you're shopping a completely different place, you're not gonna have the same cue. Your cue's gonna be different, right? Engineer your environment to make sure you have positive cues rather than negative cues. If you know you're a gooner, yeah, I'm talking to you. If you know you're a gooner, delete certain things on social media. Stop following BBL models, bro. Stupid. Like you're making it hard for yourself. You don't want to have to rely on motivation, right? When it comes to habits, like with anything, motivation is such a finite resource. It's gonna run out. You don't want to have to use willpower. The most disciplined people are those who use their willpower the least because they're actually, engineering their environment so that they don't have the cues that are going to lead them down the wrong path, right? They stay away from the environments that are going to push them to do the wrong thing. And that's where you want to be. You don't want to be using motivation to fight a temptation to not do something. Like, why would you do that? If you know you're not trying to eat donuts, why would you have donuts in your fridge? You fat plonk up, man. Stop doing that. So engineer your environment. Now you know the four-step habit loop. You got the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. Go figure it out. That's all for today. Catch you tomorrow.